Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Career Corner, the show where we talk all things careers from resumes to interviews to finding your passion and landing that dream job. I'm Ariana, your host, and also the career ambassador here at the Career Connections Center. We decided to launch this podcast to give you all the fun and useful career advice and information that you need right when you need it. I am so excited that you are here listening to our very first episode, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's be real, resumes can be so stressful. These are the very first impressions that employers make of you, and the little mistakes can often send the wrong message. That's why for our very first episode, I decided that we talk about resume red flags. I asked our career consultants here at the Career Connections Center to send me a list of resume red flags they often see on student resumes. This list is things that you want to avoid so that you can land that dream job. So let's jump in. The very first resume red flag that I want to talk about today is outdated sections. Adding an objective that just says to obtain this position is really vague. It doesn't add much value. The employers already know that you're applying for this job. So for your summary section, you don't really want to do just these vague to obtain this job. You want to add some more adjectives about you. You want to add in why you want that job. This goes the same for references upon request. Employers know that if they need a reference, they can go to you and they can ask for you about it. So deleting that section on your resume that says references upon request can definitely save up some space for you for more useful information. It's good to keep things updated with time. Make sure you're updating your experience. And also you want to be updated in how employers are receiving your resume. We went from having to print out your resume and go physically to each location to hand in your resume. Now everything is purely online. So they are expecting either a docs document, PDF, however they're wanting to receive it, the employers. So it's definitely good to just, keep yourself updated on these things and definitely keep your resume updated. For my second red flag is poor formatting. Formatting can definitely play a big role into how employers see you as a person outside of work. When you list out your work experience, you don't want to have paragraphs as your bullet points. You want bullet points to be bullet points. Okay, bullet points should only be about 1 to 2 sentences long, so you don't want to have this essay type style bullet point on there. Employers just often scan these resumes. They probably have so many resumes that come in, so they don't have the time to just sit there and read every single paragraph that you have. It's good just to keep these bullet points nice, clean, and simple so that when employers do scan your resume, it's super easy to read and they know exactly who you are within 3 words of reading the first bullet point. Another resume red flag is using like Canva or these fancy word templates. That is definitely a no. That confuses the applicant tracking systems, which is also known as ATS. So you really want to stick to something that's clean and simple formatting. When you use these inconsistent layouts or too much colors or fonts, ATS will automatically put you in the no pile. If you don't know what ATS is, it is applicant tracking systems, and basically it's this computer that receives your resume first before it even goes into the hands of employers. If they see too much fonts, too much colors, too much text boxes, they automatically put you in the no pile when all those text boxes have very useful information. So you want to stick to just a clean, simple format. I have always been told and always recommend to use Word. You just want to use a plain Word doc. I would definitely stay away from Canva or any fancy templates from Word. And for our next resume red flag is having too much or too long of a resume. So you only want to stick to 1-page resumes. If you go over 2 pages, this is considered too much for undergrad students and honestly most professionals. Resume should only be 1 page. If you have a lot of information on there that you believe is useful, most of the time it's not. Having a lot of information on there can definitely hurt you more than it'll help you. So if you have high school diplomas or high school experience on there, especially as a university student, you definitely just want to delete that. You don't want that in your resume. That's just adding way too much information. Employers want to know what you have been doing now, not in the past. So definitely not. So listing every single job that you've had ever definitely could hurt you more than it can help you. And for our next resume red flag that I would like to get into is unprofessional detailing. So believe it or not, your email matters. The email that you put on your resume definitely has a big impact on how employers see you. So having soccer lover 99 definitely wouldn't help you much. So you want to have a good professional email. You want to have your first and last name and like your favorite number. So yeah, make sure you create your own personal professional email that you can put on your resume so that employers see you as this organized professional. You don't want to add photos or graphics or flashy designs onto your resume unless you're in a creative field that needs it. Definitely no pictures on your resume. You don't want to put your profile picture on there. It's something that can definitely lead to discrimination, unfortunately. So you just don't want pictures on there. You just want the employers to read this resume and know exactly who you are. So definitely avoid doing that unless you're in a creative field that needs it. And even then, I would recommend to start a portfolio and keep all those cool graphics and photos in there. Along with, you want to avoid putting your full home address on there. It's unnecessary and it could be a safety issue. Just put your city and state is fine. You don't really need to go into too much depth of where you live. It's definitely a big safety issue that we see here at the Career Connections Center. So please just put your city and state on there. And we're back. Little intermission. I'm getting thirsty, guys. Stay hydrated. It's so hot. Can we talk about how it's so hot outside and like it's fall? Like I'm ready for the fall weather. Hello. Alrighty, our next resume red flag is weak or vague content. Listing tasks instead of the impact you made can definitely be misleading. For example, instead of saying responsible for filing, you want to say organized and maintained records for a 200 student office. This definitely gives the employer more of a perspective of what you did, more of the impact you made during either that job experience or project experience. Vague bullet points don't tell the story. It doesn't put the employers in the perspective of what you did. Employers want to see how you contributed, what you did, the impact you made. So definitely you don't want to have vague bullet points. You want to keep them nice and juicy, as I like to say. As I was saying, employers want to see the impact, the contribution you made. You want to include definitely important volunteer work, professional affiliations, or student works. This is really valuable experience. Highlighting this experience again gives employers the perspective of what you've done, how you contributed, and how you are a great fit for the position that you are applying for. This goes with not highlighting your bilingual skills, projects, or leadership roles. This is all stuff that you want to highlight, that you want to put out there that says, hey, I'm qualified for this job, hire me now. Just kidding. But it definitely puts employers, in the perspective of like exactly who you are and what you've done. Even forgetting to name your resume file properly can definitely be misleading as well. If an employer gets 100 resumes, if an employer gets 100 files just titled resume, yours could get lost. So you definitely always want to save it as your first name, last name, resume. That's definitely a big thing. The last resume red flag that I'm going to get into is AI generated resumes. Now, I understand ChatGPT, AI tools like that can be so helpful and we love using them. But if you use them and it looks like your resume was just a copy and paste format, employers can definitely tell. You want to keep this resume close to you, make it your own, put it in your own words, because at the end of the day, employers want to hire you not AI. So definitely you want to keep this to you. You want to avoid using ChatGPT. Now, I will say, you can use ChatGPT to an extent if you use it as in give me adjectives for this or how can I make this sound better, can definitely help you. But again, you just want to keep it in your own words as much as possible. You want employers to know, like, this is me, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely avoid using AI generated resumes. Stray away from all that, but you can use ChatGPT to an extent. Now that I've given you all these red flags, all of these bad news, let me tell you how to fix it. Here are some quick little tips that our consultants gave that I'm going to share with you today so that, you can go home you're probably already home. After listening to this episode, you can create your resume flawlessly. So let's get into these little tips and fixes that you can do right now. For your professional summary, this is often the first thing that goes on your resume. You want to keep this 3 to 5 sentences that highlights your skills, experiences, what you bring to the table, and you always want to keep this in third person. Tailor it with keywords from the job description. You want to look at the job description that you're applying for. Look at those keywords and skills that the employer is looking for and use them to your advantage. Use those keywords and skills and put them in your professional summary. This definitely helps with ATS as well. Applicant tracking systems automatically see these keywords and then they put you in the yes pile. So that's definitely a big tip that I would give. Second tip is you obviously keeping your resume clean and simple, one page, especially if you're early in your career. As I said many times, you just want your format, your resume to be nice, clean, and simple. Next tip is to show impact. You want to use action verbs and highlight how your work made a difference. You want to highlight how you contributed, as I said before. Give employers the perspective of how you can contribute to the position that you're applying for, to their company. So yeah, you always want to show impact. Use big action verbs, big adjectives, to definitely highlight that experience. And please, last tip, and I feel like this is a given, this is kind of like common sense a little bit. You want to proofread. Don't forget to proofread your resume and name your file with your name in it. Definitely a big thing. You don't want to hand in a resume that has the wrong "your" in it. I do that all the time, so honestly, I can't even talk, but definitely want to proofread it. You want to, just make sure everything sounds nice, clean, and organized. So that concludes all my tips and fixes to our resume red flags. I really do hope that you found them useful, and I really hope you learned something. But before I leave, I wanted to introduce a little segment called Pass the Mic. So I decided to hit the sidewalks, aka I stood in front of Hubbard Hall with this big wheel, and I was just out there and I had students come up, spin the wheel, and answer the resume question that was on there. So let's see what they have to say.
For our upcoming podcast, it's gonna be our first episode is gonna be over resume red flags. So all you have to do is just spin the wheel and then answer the question that's on it, and that's it. And then you get a prize afterwards. Okay. So, okay, you can speak into the microphone once you spin the wheel.
Okay, cool. Oh, that was a really bad spin. Yikes. What's the hardest part about writing a resume? I would say just mostly getting all the information in there, remembering everything and making sure it sounds good. Being in their perspective, making sure it sounds good to them.
Yeah,
You get that?
That's
okay.
That's a good one.
Thank you guys.
Pens, lanyards, pom-poms.
What's an instant red flag on the resume? I think maybe something that doesn't correlate to what you're applying for, like job experiences or just things that don't apply in order to get the job.
Like that was a weak experience. Okay. One word to describe your resume.
Basic.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with basic. There's nothing wrong with
It
basic.
needs some updating and improving and everything.
Right.
That's about it.
That's good. That's good. There's nothing wrong with basic. You can come visit us if you want to spice it up a little bit,
Oh,
or stay
yeah.
tuned for a future episode. It's gonna give you tips on how to. It's gonna give you tips on like what not to put on your resume. So that
Okay.
should help you build it up too.
Okay.
It's a little spin.
All right, be honest. When's the last time you've updated your resume? All right, so the last time I updated my resume would probably be the summer.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
admittedly.
good.
Okay. Definitely either June or July. Okay, probably July though. So, yeah, so June, July, because at the time I was applying for jobs, also getting ready for the semester too,
Yes.
because you never know like the different types of like interns and opportunities that are going to come up. So I was like, I got to give them a refresh
Yes.
on everything. I volunteered as well, so I had to update that as well. So that's
Love
all.
that. Love
Yes.
that you're on top of it.
Thank you.
As hard as you like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As hard as you want, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good spin. Best spin we've had all day.
So where is it actually? Is it left? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
yellow.
the question is, where can you go for help on your resume?
Mhm.
Where can you go for your help on resume?
Yeah.
Well, I can go to my big brother, or I can go to my university advisor, DSO, and I could go to my cool friends who already got the job.
Yes. That's a good one.
So that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, it says, what's one make people mistake on their resume? I guess no. I think I kind of know this one. Is like I guess not outlining like their actual experience in a way, like their actual like experience or like projects they did outside of like what they offer in a
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about writing a resume? The hardest part. The hardest part is like the qualifications and like the experiences
Your experience.
listing in like good way. Good writing.
Yep, I agree. I definitely agree. It's hard to like format
Yep,
those.
yep, yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
I loved hearing all these answers because a lot of us can agree that resumes can be really confusing and really stressful. So hopefully these tips and fixes that I gave you guys can be really helpful, and they don't have to be as confusing or stressful anymore. Recap all of our resume red flags. We want to avoid outdated sections, watch your formatting, keep it concise, stay professional, and always show your impact. If you need help reviewing or doing your resume, you can make an appointment through Handshake with your career consultant, or you can drop by during our walk-in hours, which are posted on our Instagram if you'd like to head over there and give us a follow. Other than that, thank you so much for joining in today's first episode. We upload every other Thursday, so make sure you tune into our next episode. We will be talking about career fairs, do's and don'ts for our upcoming Career Expo, October 7th. Make sure you attend, make sure you register. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.